Joe. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. It's pleasant evening.
Welcome back to the Two Joes podcast. It's been a crazy, wild, woolly night. Some of this content will not be published.
Can't be.
Because
How about private, though? Can you go private with it?
Yes, I'll go private, but we let it all hang out.
I got to hear it again,
so
Joe.
I do too. We're back. We're back for the wrap-up. The evening of podcast segments has come to an end. I have to get home because I have to work tomorrow because I'm an average Joe, just like you. Bills to pay.
One of two average
things
Joes.
to do. Yes, we're all average Joes. We all have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's been a great, even though wild and woolly, podcast evening. Thank you,
evening.
Mojo, am I right? shyJoe, front and center. Thank you for coming. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, Mojo, I'm glad you changed your name back. I love your insight and opinions and just everything you bring to the podcast. Your stories are so great,
much.
and especially your quotes. You're a quote master. shyJoe, I love your opinions too. I know you feel like they're smaller opinions for some reason, or they're going to be attacked more readily. But I think we're all kind of letting it hang out here. We're all giving our opinions, and I think you've moved in ways that I was hoping you'd move in the direction of I don't have all the answers. And that's all, none of us have all the answers. But this is where I'm at, and this is why I'm at where I'm at. That's all we can really do. Yeah. Share our stories and let it hang out. And
Well, Main Joe, what you just did right there, I'm going to try and find a Beatles way to, like a song title. That was Peace Overture right there between you and a Republican. Just, I love your opinions. I love you as a friend, and we're cool. And that was a peaceful overture. And,
we're cool.
And it was also very well accepted by shyJoe. Listeners, hope you guys caught that too. Thank you.
I always try to get that in at the end when things seem to get a little heated. I always, when the music starts playing, I'm like, oh, by the way, we're all friends.
Yes, I've noticed that. And if you listen to the podcast, you would hear yourself say that.
Yeah.
And it's great, dude. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is very true.
And I wish our politicians could do that more, Jeez.
But they can't, because their livelihood is re-election and their $170,000 a year job where they work. I don't know.
I'm going to throw it out
3
there.
3 months a year.
Is it the media that won't let them? A little bit? Because
no.
they need this antagonist-protagonist thing going on, or else they don't get the clicks, they don't get the views, they don't get people reading their articles.
Question. Exactly, and they don't get the money coming in. Put yourself in their position, just as I have done. I am only going after re-election, and I want to keep this cushy, gilded job every year.
It doesn't have to be
election
that way.
After election.
Tulsi Gabbard tells a great story about how when she first got elected, I guess she has a relative or something that makes these chocolate-covered macadamia nuts in Hawaii, and she got a box for every single representative in Congress.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then some of them liked him so much, she got more for them.
I like her.
You got to build bridges. You got to find the common denominator.
Something so small like that can do it.
shyJoe and I have so much in common.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't forget that, because we want the same things. We want security. We want clean water, clean air. We want an economy that works.
And I want health care
good education.
For everybody. Yeah.
These things are not...
May I tell a story?
Yeah, please do.
I'll be very brief. I heard it from W. Joe, and it was a friend of ours. Can't mention his name. Anyway, he had a mutual friend that we had met. He's been in and out of luck with his career over the years, and he was doing some landscaping to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
He sustained a cut on his shin and didn't have insurance, couldn't have it treated, and didn't have it treated. And it grew purple, and one day this man, let's call him Don, he passed out I don't know where he was, at a Dairy Queen. I have no idea what the story, but he woke up and his leg was gone. It was just gone. The reason he didn't go get his cut looked at is because he knew he would be charged hundreds or if not thousands of dollars. And so he just let it fester and fester. And the doctor told him, if we didn't take your leg, you would have been dead. And he passed out cold. And that's my whole platform right there. Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
You know, I heard today 40,000 people a year in the United States of America die because they don't have health care.
Another stat then. May I throw another stat to sustain that one?
Throw it.
Have no idea if it's true or not. 500,000 families a year, not people, families every year go bankrupt because they can't afford
500,000
families
every year.
Yeah, now is that fake news?
I don't know. I'm gonna try looking that one up because I do know, well, at least I've been told that GoFundMe, one of the biggest things on GoFundMe are people trying to pay hospital bills, medical bills.
Yeah.
Yes,
there are many of those, countless number of those. Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't have data on any of that. I wonder though how many people have such huge deductibles now that they're paying out of pocket anyway, and so they don't go get the health care that they need.
I understand what you're saying.
Deductibles can be so overwhelming.
Your health
the situation for me has got worse. It's gotten worse for some of us. Don't forget that when you go vote. It's gotten worse for some of us. Some of us, it's gotten better, but for some of us, it's gotten worse.
I'd like to know from the people who are these people where it's better. I want to hear.
I know who they are.
Let's hear from you.
They're the ones who didn't have any insurance before who have it today.
Because the government pays for it.
Yes.
Because they don't make enough.
Because Obamacare paid for it.
Because maybe they make minimum wage and they have 4 kids at home. Now they have health care for their kids.
I was only trying to answer the question.
So do you. It's we all do. But if we got to pay out of pocket for our health insurance.
Yeah,
then
because we can't meet our deductibles.
It's a matter of, is it affordable or not?
It sounds to me like no one's getting health insurance except for those people.
Well,
government takes money out of my paycheck to make sure there are public schools for my kids to go to. I have no choice in that.
From what
just let me finish, please.
I don't think you might be wrong, though. From what I understand,
property taxes.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say it's property tax. It's not your paycheck. It's property taxes.
My paycheck's a little bit less, and I want them to take another portion of my paycheck to make sure that anybody that gets an infected leg or leukemia or brain cancer or gets in a car wreck, they are taken care of. They are
just write me a check right now, bro. Because that stuff happens to both of us.
Me write you a check?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Why not? Why not just give you're very charitable. Why not help your friends out?
All right, I'll give you.
Because we've heard stories about how we're not getting the health care that we need, even though we're getting subsidies. We are. I am at least, but I have to pay that back in taxes.
Right. Regardless,
are we arguing for the same thing here?
I think you kind of are. I mean, the way insurance is supposed to work, whether or not the government's involved.
You wanted to have money taken out of your paycheck
to make sure everybody's covered.
To make sure everyone's covered. Well, I'm just saying there's 2 people in the room right now.
Cool, then. Yeah, let's do it. That was my point, dude. Let's make it happen.
All right, well, let's see the paycheck.
And by the way, the premiums taken out of my check, those go away. I don't have to pay those anymore. The ones from the insurance companies,
I
don't have to pay those anymore. Those are gone. Bye. $380 a month or $412 a month, whatever it is. Those are gone. And now I just pay a little bit more to the federal government, and everybody's covered. Everybody in the country is covered. My neighbor, my friends, and people I don't even like. They're all covered.
For $380 a month?
Or
I don't know what
$412.
state or what world you're living in.
Whatever dude, it would be cheaper.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how much that is. I mean, I've been following Bernie pretty closely for years now, and I don't think he's ever really said how much it's going to cost us extra in taxes. as far as to cover everybody.
Well,
I mean,
it's not taxes.
they say the plan's going to be cheaper than it is now. The government's going to be spending less now or than they are now on health care.
And Trump said that
Okay,
too.
so what does that mean for me in my pocketbook? I don't think they've
Universal
ever really
health-
explained that.
Here's the number one thing.
Because I know Canada has universal health care, and their
Yeah.
taxes are quite high compared to ours, right?
Yes, that must happen.
So our taxes are going up.
Yes,
Even though
and
the government's
premiums are going
paying
away, and
less?
the deductibles and the co-pays and all of this middleman insurance
Yeah, I
for-profit
understand that.
healthcare bullshit is going away. That's what we're heading toward.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can accomplish what Canada, Sweden, Denmark,
I hope we
Finland,
can.
Belgium, Japan, China, Australia. Let's hope we could accomplish what they've done.
I hope we
so
can.
500,000 families don't go bankrupt every fucking year because
And 40,000 people don't die simply
their
because they
infant-
don't have
yes.
health care.
their infant gets leukemia.
You know, some of these things can be simple if you catch them early enough.
And it would be cheaper.
That's what
Universal
they-
health services in America would
That's
be
what they're
cheaper
telling
than
me.
what the government spends now per capita. It would be cheaper. It would be less
I
expensive.
sure hope they're right because Obamacare was a letdown and then some.
Huge.
Huge letdown.
Because he folded. He didn't get what he was
Well,
after.
the parties aren't
He
working
folded.
together. I mean,
Yeah.
one party thinks healthcare is a right, the other thinks healthcare is a privilege.
To those who can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no arguing that fact. I mean, I don't see it.
Well, there isn't. There isn't any arguing that. If you can afford great health care, you get great health care. If you can't, you might die or at least suffer or go take ibuprofen instead of what you really need. You know, it's sad that we do this to our fellow citizens, fellow American citizens. This is happening every
You know,
day.
in insurance, how it works is everyone's supposed to pitch in, and that way everyone has it when they need it, right? Like even life insurance, for example. I used to sell life insurance back in the day, and I had to study for the.
You know it. Yeah.
I had to study for the test. And
shyJoe knows this too. It used to be cheaper. It used to be affordable. You remember the days when health insurance was affordable?
Oh, I dream of having those days back.
I remember the days when you didn't need health insurance. My dad paid for.
I don't remember those.
My
days.
dad paid for his ruptured appendix. He didn't have health insurance.
When you were a kid, when your parents took care of it, you know, that's when you didn't need it. And I dream of the day in the future.
Did
when
your
that's true.
parents have health insurance the whole time you were growing up?
Absolutely. Yes.
My dad didn't. He was
Blue
self-employed.
Cross, Blue
Dental,
Shield.
everything.
Ran his
Yeah.
own grocery store. He didn't have health insurance.
I was lucky. I was a healthy kid. I never needed
Me
to go
too.
to a doctor.
Rarely missed a day of
And
school.
I went to the dentist like every other year,
Oh,
something
my-
like
my
that. But it
dad-
was all covered. Every bit of it was covered. Those were good days. Those were golden days. Those days are gone.
They're gone.
They're not coming back.
Healthcare and education, because healthcare and education costs have gone up exponentially compared to everything else. There's inflation, right?
And why?
Here's
And
inflation
why?
going up at 3-4% every year. Here's education. Here's healthcare going through the roof.
Why? There's the question. Because
That's a
they
good
can. Because they can charge more for your premium every month.
There's been a good argument made that one of the reasons why education has gone up so much, like let's take an example for the University of Utah, they get government money. The University of Utah does. Plus, they get money from donors and stuff. But one of the argument that's been made, and I think is probably partly true, is that they know these kids have money because they get the Pell Grants, they get the low interest loans. They know the money's there, so they take it. It's there, so let's raise our rates. Ooh, they still have money. Let's raise them a little more. Ooh,
You are onto something big
I
right
think
there.
so.
If the government gets out of it, prices are going to go down.
That could happen.
Same with college tuitions.
Same
All the
with-
grants and everything that happens, they're mostly government. They're Pels.
Yep.
And if you got them out of there, price for college would go down. The government creates the problem.
It does, and it also
and then they
applies
try to give you the
May I be
solution.
the dissenting voice?
this
on
could
this.
this could also apply
Dissenting.
to one more second.
Yeah.
Also apply to for-profit prisons. Go.
Ah, thank you. Yeah. Government being involved. Okay. Let me. I'm going to be much more brief on this. Tuition at public universities in America should be free of charge, whether you are looking to be a pipe welder or a heart surgeon. Period. Thank you.
I would be happy if it just went back to the 70s where an education was affordable, you know?
Yeah, I prefer when health insurance was affordable.
Yeah. Well, or if you didn't
When
even...
government was less involved in it.
Yeah.
I think government drives
Well,
up. Government creates the problem.
Yeah, like
They
you got
drive up
a
the prices.
for-profit prison.
They control it,
and the government's
then they
giving you
charge
all
us
this
more.
money. Oh, here's another example that I just heard today, actually, before I came over. So they've got this non-profit company running the housing for the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that come over, and they need somewhere to put them, right? So this non-profit, not-for-profit company sets up all these tents and whatever they do to house these people. The CEO of that company, or the nonprofit company, he's making $3.5 million a year. Not only he, but then his chief operating officer. There's several people making over $1 million a year to run this not-for-profit company.
Indeed.
Where there's government money and these big, big contracts, there's corruption.
Get government out of our colleges, and you watch the prices drop. These grants, these loans.
I went to the DeVry Institute of Technology through a grant and a loan because my dad could not afford to send me there without him. That got me to where I am today.
But there would be other ways, other companies offering solutions for you to be able to get a loan. It's not a government loan.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I just don't have.
It's still a loan. It's still a fucking loan.
But it wouldn't be controlled by government rates.
I don't have.
What does that matter, dude? I want
cheaper.
our government to.
It would
I don't
be way
have
cheaper.
I don't
no,
have.
I want it free. You don't understand. Education, man, is
free.
the key.
Ain't no free lunch, bro.
Education and healthcare should be.
I don't have the same
That's our big
faith
big
in
political divide.
corporations as you do. I think is where we maybe differ a little bit. Is corporations are full of greed. They're full of.
Indeed.
They're going to do what
And they are
their
feasting
pocket,
on our
though.
students right now.
Our government is.
They're feasting on our government, dude.
Yes, and that's been going on for years also.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Fucking education and healthcare.
Well,
They should take over education. They've already taken over healthcare. We've seen that. Fool me once. Let's give them control of education now and see how much it costs.
Yeah.
Well, education
Take over.
Well,
Fool me once.
Well, okay. Well, let's dial it back. Let's make it a little simplified here. So are you telling me that from kindergarten to the 12th grade should be run by corporations, or not be run by the government, or not be funded by the government?
Keep it at the city or state level,
Okay. So
which is a very Republican viewpoint.
It's not,
Very much
it's
so.
Not,
Yeah, it's
it's
very
not
true.
A bad,
That's
it's
very
not
true.
a bad idea. However, I really question whether or not they could afford it because education's expensive as fuck.
And we need to put more money into it. Much, much more money than we are.
And the problem I have with pumping more money into something is that you get that corruption. You get people skimming off the top. You get that CEO of a nonprofit making $3.5 million a year. How can we make it so it's spent more wisely?
Get the
Do we need
government
to
out.
audit the fuck out
No,
of
we
things?
privatize it all. K through 12, like you said. Let's
here's
make Chevron and
something.
ExxonMobil.
I
want to
hear your ideas on this. So we've got this group of people, and they decide to run jets into the Twin Towers in New York City. We have this other group of people that are going to rush in there. They're going to try and save people. They're going to try and see what the situation is. They're going to dig through the rubble for bodies. And survivors. And because of all these carcinogens in the air and shit, a lot of them are getting sick, and they need care. They need health care. Our federal government makes them come beg hat in hand every 5 years to get this money for this health care.
have it renewed.
Yeah, this year they were saying, look, this is ridiculous. They're wasting their final days coming back every 5 years, hat in hand, begging the government for health care when, look, they were serving. There was a terrorist attack. They went in there basically as our
We got you, man. We
first
got you.
responder military people. I mean, and you can't take care of their health care needs. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. In Congress,
Absolutely.
because of Rand Paul, a Republican, who objected to giving these guys the money they needed. Granted, it was an open-ended kind of thing to the year 20,
No, it wasn't.
whatever.
It was not open-ended. That's not true at all.
It had a date, but still, it
2092.
wasn't something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was, but his problem wasn't that so much as it was, how are we going to pay for it?
Yeah.
After he got done voting for a $1.5 trillion tax cut to the rich,
Yeah.
that was supposed to trickle down, and what did it result in? $450 million worth of stock buybacks to pad the pockets of the rich.
No, billion, not million. Billion.
Oh, you might
It
be
was
right
billion.
there.
Yes,
Right
it
there.
was. Yeah.
So how do you guys fall on that? I think personally we should say fuck the deficit. Get these guys fucking health care. We'll figure out how to pay for it later.
State level. State level.
You think New York City should take care of all of this, even though it was an attack on the United States of America?
Man, if they want to be a sanctuary city, if they want to bring in all these people, they want to take care of all of them. Yeah, let the city take care of it.
Let them secede then from the
Lansing,
United States of America.
Lansing,
Let them
Let's
be
see how
their
they
own
do.
country.
Lansing, Michigan, where I grew up, that is a poor ass city. They're a sanctuary city now, so let them take care of their
It'll be a hellhole inside of a month, right?
It already is, but they can. So is Philadelphia and
Is it a shithole country?
what
I'm sorry. Is it a shithole country?
shithole country?
Shithole state, shithole area to live?
I wouldn't live there.
And that is a fair assessment. That is a fair assessment. I would rather live here.
Yeah,
I would rather live here than on Post Street. I'd rather live here than in Magna.
but there's
This is a fair assessment.
and I'll
It's
be
fair.
called a racist by saying this, but there's a very large black community in that city as well, and they're already struggling a lot.
Because of the blacks?
No, they're just
Then
not.
why did you raise blacks then? Why did you say...
Because now you're inviting, as a sanctuary city, other people to compete for those jobs and those
more
those
blacks?
places. No.
So I'm a little bit confused.
Other
I'm
people
sorry.
from outside of our country.
I was
people
trying
that
to-
are not citizens.
I was trying to
Immigrants
basically to
coming
boil
in.
down my
Immigrants.
question. The question I raised was, should we provide health care for the first responders of the 9/11 terrorist attack on the Twin Towers
That is
in
where
New
we
York
started.
City?
It's true. Yeah.
And you're basically telling me no.
No, he agreed with it. Yeah.
We
He
should
agreed with
no.
it.
He agreed that we should not provide health care for these guys because it's a sanctuary city, essentially. Isn't that what you said?
No, that's not where I was.
okay. I got
Great
confused.
question. Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah.
got- I got really
Sanctuary City
confused
came
there.
in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Main Joe. Thank you. Yeah.
I thought the conversation had gone on for like 10 minutes after that, and we were talking about different
I just got
different things.
confused.
Did you have an edible tonight?
Where are you at with them? Do you think
I
we
thought
should?
the conversation progressed.
I
since
didn't think
you
it
brought
did.
that up.
I was still trying to figure out where you guys stood on it. Do you think we should give them the money even though it's not paid for, as Rand Paul would like to pay for it?
I think they should be taken care of like heroes. They should be
Yes,
exalted,
me
put on
too. I
towers
agree.
and stuff. Yeah.
And shyJoe, where are you at with this?
I agree with
Oh,
you.
you agree?
I
Okay,
agree
okay.
with
We're
you.
all in agreement. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry, listeners,
But
but
I
not
didn't-
sorry. That was a nice little interlude. Kind of, we went through that. That's how miscommunication
How did
occurs.
the sanctuary city thing even get started? Where did that come from?
That was shyJoe.
Why did you
was-
bring? Why did you bring that up?
Because I was talking about state level versus fed.
Well, that's what I thought you were
federal.
saying. You thought the first responders healthcare should be paid for by the state.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's not. It shouldn't be paid for by the federal government,
I just think federal government should stay out of anything.
even
state
though
level.
it was an attack on our country.
Yes.
That's the Republican.
See, okay,
view.
so then we
Yeah.
do disagree there a
Limited
little bit.
government.
A little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
You think New York City, New York State should pay for their health care and not the federal
I
government?
apologize. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
so I
do.
think the federal government should pay for it, and you think the same.
Yeah.
Like, well, for example, what about the first responders at the Pentagon, which also got destroyed, and there was probably people there.
Same argument. It's just the same.
I mean, this
You
is
think?
just-
Well, they're not even a state though. They're a fucking
a
what-
district. I know, so it gets really complicated. But in general, I think federal government limit.
Yeah.
I think things get way
get
way
weird,
more
don't they?
expensive.
Well, plus,
Things get way
what
more
bugs me
expensive
about it is when the federal
gets
government
involved.
starts flexing that money and saying, "Oh, well, you're not going to get federal funds if you don't do it our way." That kind of gets creepy. It's like, what?
And
You're
that's-
telling us how to do our business in our state because you're take that federal fucking money and flush it up your
question.
fucking ass, man.
You guys,
But
And
those,
that's
but
where
those
the-
roads get way harder to build without those federal funds.
They do.
oh man, the feds have all the money.
I have a lot of
A
money.
lot. Well, California is now the 5th biggest economy in the world. You guys know
Have been
that?
for a long time. They were when Arnold
was-
Schwarzenegger was the
I thought it was
governor.
6th then. They just
Well, right, they hover right
think
around that
they
mark
just
for
passed
sure.
France. They just passed France.
crazy.
As in, forgot my total point.
But they have a crazy homeless problem there, man.
I don't know
Gonna
anything
get a
about
lot
that.
lot
They
worse.
have
Gonna get a lot worse.
They have an app to show on this app on the map where the homeless shit in San Francisco, so you can avoid those shit places.
That's why I say
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
not, that's
it's
not my problem,
crazy.
California. That's your problem.
And they're dealing with it the best they can. I mean,
Oh.
but what?
Let's hope.
You think they're bringing it on themselves?
Well, there's small businesses moving out away from where they were.
But there are
because
still
there's,
many that are
like
there, right?
raw sewage going
Yeah.
down
Oh,
in front.
come on.
but no, it's
Don't tell me fucking come on.
It's true, dude.
It
This is happening.
absolutely true.
The homeless
It is
situation in
absolutely
LA
true.
and San Francisco
that
is
situation
off
is
the
a fucking
charts.
joke.
But
And if
why?
you're blind to it, you need to open your eyes. Don't tell me come on.
You're blaming California for their situation. You're saying this is your fault. You did this to yourself. Is what
Yes.
you're saying.
Yeah, they
Because
made
of
their
their
decision.
because of their great weather. And I mean, if I was homeless, where would you want to go? I would want to go to California
Yeah,
because
but-
guess what? The weather doesn't get too cold there. I can survive year round.
What is the elephant in the room? How about let's figure out this immigration problem? I'm encouraged, actually, that we watch these Democratic debates, and they're actually admitting now that there's a crisis at the border.
I know that is
I'm
true.
encouraged. Finally.
The
Yeah.
Democrats
Finally.
are?
Yes.
Yes, because
Yes.
Are the
Every
Republicans,
single
though?
one
Are
of
the
them.
Republicans finally admitting there's a crisis?
Dude, they've been admitting it for a long
saying
time.
it for years.
Okay.
They've been saying it for years.
I heard on the media. I heard on the media not too long ago that there's because there's like no jobs in the U.S. Like there's more people leaving and going back to Mexico than coming in. I heard that not too long ago. But
Fake
that
news
was
again? Is that
total
fake news,
fake
Joe?
news according
Is
to
it?
what I'm
I don't
seeing.
know.
Well,
I've
that's
heard
true.
immigration is down.
That's true.
The numbers coming in have been going down since Obama.
That's
And-
what I
and
heard.
yet-
But
and
yet
now
there's
we
a
s-
crisis and there's
Ex-
caravans.
And we see the footage and,
and
the
we
people
see the
in
footage
cages.
and people in
and-
cages.
Yeah.
By
What's the
way,
truth, gentlemen?
That's
we
a
get all
good
worked
question.
up. What's the truth here?
I do not know.
All I know is there's no major
I know I saw.
wars going on.
I know I saw Mr. Pence looking at all these guys and looking
I saw
all
that.
stoic.
I saw that.
And those guys were in a cage. They were in this cage so small for how many people there were in there. They could not all lay down. But
True.
But 3-4 days later, the acting Homeland Security dude that was running that area brought CBS cameras in, and he showed that where these other people were, where they had children. This mom came all the way from Venezuela. She still had her kid with her. She said, "Yes, we're being taken care of. Yes, we have diapers. Yes, everything's cool. I'm just waiting for see what's going to happen," kind of thing.
I heard.
So what I found out later was that one establishment where Pence was the single guys in McAllen, Texas, and basically they're all
McAllen, I've been there.
they're
I've
all
been,
illegal
yeah.
immigrants. Where the other one was also illegal immigrants, but women with children, and they were being taken care of. This guy was saying, "Look, we prioritize what we have. We take care of the women with children first, and these guys next, and then guess what? Those single guys that are coming over the border, they're last. And yes, we need more funds. And that $4.6 billion that we that AOC voted against. I guess somehow they got through, and they have the money. He says they're taking steps. They're building new tent cities.
Good.
So things hopefully are going in the right direction. My hat actually is getting a tip to that guy who decided to let the cameras in and show people what's really happening, and hopefully he'll spend the money wisely.
Yeah.
And
Well, Main Joe, let's turn it into a movie.
If I might, on that point.
Kids go to bed hungry. No kids go to bed hungry.
Well, that would be
That's
the
what I'm
ideal.
after.
Yeah.
I'd like to clear up, and I'm looking at a lot of stuff on Twitter. I don't know if you guys have heard, but these cages that just everyone's so pissed at Trump about, is that a Trump thing?
Well, it was first those
they've
pictures
been around forever.
those pictures they showed were from the Obama
It
administration.
wasn't when then George W. Bush before that, and then
Probably.
Clinton before
Well,
that.
actually, no.
I strongly doubt.
Obama did it. Then Obama's the bad guy.
I
Is that what you're
strongly
saying?
doubt.
That's what the news.
That's
what the news is saying.
Obama started the
But I don't
cages.
thi-
Then
I find that hard to believe. I'm going to look.
He's
that
the bad
up.
guy, not Trump.
Oh,
not what's going on now.
I have to hear every day that Trump is doing all this shit.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
we do.
So
we hear it
same-
every day.
Same thing then.
So which is it then, Trump or Obama? Who's the bad guy?
Who put the cages in there?
Is Obama or Trump the bad guy?
Who
Give me a
deported
name.
more people?
Obama.
Who put the cages in there?
Obama.
Okay.
But they were there during George W. Bush too, and Clinton. They were there.
I think you're
Dude,
wrong on that.
Obama started the cages. Then
Yes.
he's to blame, not Trump at all.
Well,
No,
I'm just
no.
saying, lay off Trump about the fucking cages.
And lay on
CNN.
Obama. Exactly, dude.
Well,
Why
I mean,
you
he's
hatred
got-
for
he-
Obama?
he-
Why do you hate Obama so much?
Because he's a fucking moron. Do you want me to go on? I can bring up 10 other reasons.
Can you bring up 10 then 10.
All right.
There's
then
10.
my health insurance used to be less than my cell phone bill. Now it costs more than my rent payment. It costs more people in Utah more than their mortgage payments.
Republicans
and it's,
did that.
And it's worse in
Republicans did that.
other states. Yeah. Because it was the Republicans' idea. Obamacare was the
No,
Republicans'
they had 2
idea.
years to do something about it, and they didn't do shit, did they?
Because Obama fucked it up, and the Republicans didn't have a replacement. The Republicans didn't have a replacement.
Exactly.
And the
They
Republicans were fully on board with Obamacare. They funded it.
No, they did not
believed
even
in it.
vote for it.
opposed
They
it.
didn't-
They didn't even vote.
And
They didn't even vote for
and
it.
they didn't
Not one single vote. Not one
very
single
few
vote.
Republican-ran states expanded Medicare
I
like
love
they should
hearing
have.
how this is a Republican fault.
It's a Republican healthcare
not
plan,
one
dude.
Person, not
It's
one
Romney
Republican
care.
voted for it.
It's Romney Care.
Okay.
They voted to repeal it many
Okay,
times.
listeners,
Many
sorry.
times.
The Republicans did all of this shit to you with health care.
No,
it had
No,
nothing
Obama
to
did.
do.
No, it's not
It was
what
Had
we're
nothing
Obama's
to do with
saying.
Obama. It had nothing to do with the
I'm
Democrats. The
saying
Republicans did this
that
to you. The
Obama
Republicans
passed
did
it, and the Republicans sabotaged it. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
I've heard enough bullshit for one night. Republicans had nothing to do with it. Didn't even vote on it.
They had 2 years to
And
fix
and
it.
they didn't support it, and they didn't repeal it when they got a chance to.
They could have.
Where was that replacement that they wanted to do?
Well, it's the supermajority that keep coming to mind. They could have done something with that supermajority.